Welcome back, guys. Wonka here. I'm going to be starting off part two of my animation tutorial. We're actually going to be highlighting illusions, mimicking, and acting with your animations. I'm basically just going to give you the gist of my perspective over these ideas and how I think that they can highlight your shows and give you extra personality while you're gloving. Now, what I mean by illusions, acting, and or mimicking, it's legitimately what I'm saying. Mimicking an object, acting out like you're doing something, or even creating the illusion of, like, for instance, maybe your finger coming apart. You know, um, over o- over the past few years, gloving has evolved to where we're doing all this tech, all these clusters, but something got lost along the way, and it's illusions. Creating legitimate illusions with the lights, and that's something that old school glovers used to like strive on because that's all they had. And from watching dancers, uh, they they essentially animate their entire shows. Especially the good ones, the ones that are telling a story. They're always animating, or they're, even if they're doing the most technically advanced move, they're doing it in such an animated motion to where they're acting out what they're trying to portray. Um, and one of the things that I feel like can help with this is actually going to be mimicking objects. One of my buddies once gave me the idea to mimic a pepper grinder mid show, and it would be something very simple like that. Obviously, you can do it a little bit differently, but the idea was there, and the big picture of it was find everyday objects that you would normally use, or even things that you normally do with your hands that you wouldn't think about using them in gloving, and see see how you can incorporate that somehow. You know, I once had this idea for a music box because essentially in a music box you have a knob that turns, and when that knob turns, it drops a pin. When that pin drops, it spins the little ballerina in the center as the music starts playing. So you can, you know, something very simple. Obviously, that was very off the top of my head, but you get the gist. Again, it's, you're trying to mimic an item or an object or even the act of something. So this is very competition, but or this would be most likely used in a competition. But digging somebody's grave out and then going, doing something like that would be a really good way of acting an action out or something like that. And it gets the just, especially in a competition, because you're digging the nigga's grave. Um, Put him in a coffin. But essentially speaking, I feel like using these ideas can help bring life and more personality to your shows. Um, One thing that I've noticed is everybody wants to be the techiest, or everybody wants to have the best liquids, and those things make your shows amazing. But what if you can make your shows unique to you? You know, um, finding finding your personality of what you think you are, or of who you think you are, of who you are, and trying to find ideas that you can act out to kind of portray that personality that you have just a little bit while you're giving your show, um, which I will actually elaborate more on in part three of this tutorial. Um, but for the most part, just to do a quick overview of this whole session, um, essentially the whole point of the animations in this part is to simply act out things that you think you can do. You know, don't just sit there and worry about doing, touch or finger touch or even, tech. I mean, obviously worry about those because those moves are really cool, but more so use the music that you're listening to or the song that you're gloving to, and try and act it out. Find a song with words and try and actually act out what they're saying in the song. You know, if you got a song that's like telling you about being all swagged and stuff like that, then pop your shoulder, like pop your shirt, like add some life and swag to it. You don't always have to be doing gloving concepts because essentially we're doing a performance, and in my opinion, a, a real performance is giving everything you have, and I don't think everything that somebody has is just liquids and tech. I think you can add so much more to it. But this has been tutorial number 2. Thank you guys for watching. I really, really hope that you were able to take in some of my ideas and be able to start incorporating them into your shows. Have a good one.